fellow language learning nerds, welcome to a new video, in which I want to talk about an experience that I had recently with a language exam. So I've had two, in the last year, I've had two different types of language exams. One for Japanese, that was last year, that was the JLPT that I took. You might have seen me chat about that in a previous video. And then the other one was only a few weeks ago when I took my level 1 sign language exam, right? And I had two very different feelings, experiences with it, especially with nerves. You know, it's very normal to get nerves when you have an exam, just before you have an exam, right? Pretty normal, but I had two very different experiences with it, and I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. So the two different feelings that I had for them. So last year for the JLPT, I was nervous naturally beforehand, but I was nervous as in like, okay, I just want to get this exam done. I'm just gonna do it. And yeah, I'm gonna concentrate. And I was a little bit fidgety, like at my desk when I was waiting for the exam to start, but I was full on into let's do this exam, let's get it done. And it was like a good nervousness that you would expect to have, I guess. However, and I guess the whole reason why I thought this might be something interesting to bring up, just before I had my sign language exam a few weeks ago, I was sitting down just waiting for the teacher to say, okay, your time is up, let's do the exam. I was so nervous. Oh my god, I was so nervous. I was just like I couldn't even just sit down and do just normal, like a little leg twitch or a little just like bit nervous here. No, I was actually pacing, and I had to, I'm gonna rattle my jewelry, but I was literally like this before the exam, just being like, oh, I don't like this feeling. Like I was so nervous before that exam, and I remember at the time thinking, I didn't feel this much of a before the Japanese exam last year. And I thought, why? The Japanese one and the sign language one were two very different exams. And I think on paper you would expect, or at least I would have expected the Japanese exam to be the much more nerve-wracking experience, and the sign language exam to be a bit more chilled. Definitely more chilled than how I felt anyway. The reason why I would expect to think that way is that the Japanese exam that I took, which was the JLPT, kind of a very official language exam, like that lasted for a couple of hours, and that was like in a test hall with, you know, the exam people watching you, making sure you're not cheating, and it's, you know, the turn your exam papers over sort of, you know, that sort of very traditional idea of what an exam is. And as I say, it was a couple of hours long, so there was technically so much more quite a lot of opportunity within those few hours to get things wrong, right? Or to panic about something. Whereas the sign language exam, it was only for level 1, so it's like probably the easiest sign language test you could possibly do. It's for level 1, nice and easy. It only lasted 5 minutes max, and you just had to have a short conversation with your teacher, and it was recorded so that the exam people in charge could watch it and give you your marks. But that was it. It's just a short 5-minute little basic conversation, nothing complicated at all. That's it. Why was that so nerve-wracking? Why was that so terrifying? What I don't know. Why? So an exam that only lasted for like 5 minutes had me absolutely terrified, whereas an exam that took a few hours, that I had to go specially to a place to do it, had to go to SOAS in London, there was loads of people there also taking JLPT exams. In comparison, that was fine. That was absolutely fine. So I began wondering, trying to have a think about it, why I would feel so dramatically different between the two. And I think I kind of have thought of a couple of reasons why. Now, even though the JLPT exam was the bigger exam, you're only really reading and listening. So that's taking information in. The most dramatic thing that I had to do physically was this. That was it. Just making little marks on a piece of paper. And even though there's obviously people who are, you know, in the exam hall making sure you're not cheating, they might look at you, but they're not really watching what you're doing. Like, they're not looking at your answers and being like, oh, okay, so that's the answer that you put for that one, huh? Okay. So you're kind of in your own little bubble, despite being surrounded by lots of people. You're all in your own little bubbles trying to figure out the answers to the questions happening, right? Whereas with the sign language one, despite it only being 5 minutes, you can't have your own little bubble. It's you and your teacher face to face. So if you make a mistake, your teacher's gonna know because you did it right in front of them. You did it to them, right? And then the whole thing is recorded and someone's gonna watch that. They're gonna watch you make your mistakes, right? And I feel like kind of knowing that made it so much more terrifying, as just a thing to do. Maybe it just really goes to show that I'm someone who likes to do things where no one can. Don't look at me. I'll do stuff, but don't look at me. Don't look at me. I think another point would have to be that with Japanese, I'm much more used to using that. I'm a bit more comfortable with that perhaps, whereas sign language is still very, very new to me. So even though I am saying some very basic vocabulary with very basic sentence structures, I'm not used to using those, so I'm a bit more terrified of using them, a bit more nervous of using them. I just wanted to bring that up about those two very different exams and two very different experiences that I had with them. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, have you done language exams? How do you feel about them? Are there some exams where you feel differently than other exams? Because that would be interesting. Because maybe like I have no idea. How do you feel when you take exams? Can it be different? Is it always the same? Please tell me. But yeah, that was my little ramble. Thank you for listening to me go on. I don't know if you can hear, if the camera's picking this up, but it started to rain, so if you're hearing like it's the rain. It's the rainy London day again. Anyway, that is enough of me rambling. Thank you so much for listening to me go on. I will let you get on with the rest of your day. Hopefully see you in another video. So for now, may your grammar be structured and your vocabulary varied. Bye!